So let's now discuss the data sheet, and I'll make you understand what this data sheet is all about. This data sheet talks about the employee performance evaluation. And in this particular Excel sheet that is reflected on the screen, you can see that the sales performance is evaluated based on three parameters, that is sales target, then payment target and reporting target. The sales, payment and reporting are nothing but the KPIs to measure the employee performance. Now let's understand what this Excel sheet, each column talks about. The first column is the date, the second is the month, then year, employee name, designation, supervisor name. The supervisor is the one under which this employee is working. Then comes the parameters. The first parameter is sales, and to evaluate this parameter we have three columns, that is the sales target and the sales achievement, and from these two columns we are going to calculate the sales score. Next we have payment target, then the payment achievement, and based on these two columns we are going to calculate the payment score. And the last one is reporting full marks, and out of the full marks how much the employee has scored, and based on these two columns data we are going to calculate the reporting score. And based on the reporting score, payment score and sales score combined together we are going to calculate the final score. But to calculate the final score we should also include the KPI weightages assigned to each of the KPIs. For sales KPI we have 50% of weightage, for payment KPI we have 30% of weightage, and for reporting KPI we have 20% weightage. So let's now begin. Now the first column talks about the date. Now I have the date of 2 months, that is January and February. Now if I want to extract just the month and the year from the date, so how I will do that? So let's see how I'm going to extract the month from the date. So to extract the month from the date, I will use this formula of Excel, that is equal to, and I'll use a function that is called as text, and then I'll open a bracket, then I will include the cell of the date, then comma, inverted comma, then MMM, M stands for month, inverted comma, finished, and then bracket over. Then I click enter and I can see that the month has been extracted from the date. After I get my first cell filled up, then I just have to drag down my data to get the entire column filled up with the extracted months. So I can see here I have the data of January as well as February. The similar process we will do to extract the year. To extract the year from the date, we just have to use the formula that is text, and then we will select the date cell, and then instead of month, that is M, we will select Y. So we will put 3 Y's under inverted comma and we will click on enter. So we get the year, that is 2023, and we will drag it down, and you can see the same data comes in all the rows. After we have done that, we already have the employee name with us, we already have their designations, we already have the data of the supervisor under which the employee is working on, and now we will come to calculate the sales score. To calculate the sales score, I have to see the sales target and the sales achievement. So if I click on the sales score cell, you can see I have to use a function that is called as if function. So I will have to put a constraint if the H2 column, that is sales achievement, is greater than G2, that is sales target column. So if sales achievement of an employee is greater than the sales target, so the maximum value I should consider is 1, because I cannot have a number that is more than 1 and if I'm calculating the sales score. Or else if the number, or if the achievement is not greater than the sales target, then we will just divide it, that is H2 divided by G2 column. And after doing that, I'll just click enter and you can see that I have the sales score, that is 0.8, because we are going to calculate all the values out of 10. And this one is 0.8, so we have got this data, and then we will just drag it down. And if I drag it down, you can see that I have got all the data of the sales score. Now after that, I come to the payment. So here I have the payment target, payment achievement. And to calculate the payment score, I have to use a similar kind of a methodology that I have used for sales score. So I'll just double click it, and the same formula, if that is payment achievement is greater than the payment target, then the maximum value it will take is 1. Otherwise, it is just payment achievement divided by payment target. And I click enter, I get the payment score. I'll just drag it down. So I get all my cells filled up. Then coming to the reporting score. So reporting score, already the full marks of reporting has already been given, and out of the full marks, the full marks is 10, and out of 10, the employee has got something like 6, 7, 5, 4, 6, 7, something like that. So in order to calculate the reporting score, so there is no option over here that the reporting marks can be greater than the full marks, because anyhow the person or the employee has got out of score. So that's why we will just have to simply divide it, that is the reporting marks divided by the reporting full marks. So to use that, I have used this formula, that is N2 column divided by the M2 column. Okay, then I click enter and I get the reporting score. I just have to drag it down to get all my rows filled up. So after doing that, our last step is to calculate the final score. To calculate the final score, what I have done here is that I have included all the scores, that is the sales score, payment score and reporting score, and each of these scores I have multiplied with the weightages. So see how I have done it. So you see I2 stands for the sales score. So I2 multiplied by the 50% weightage, that is R2. But I have fixed the R2 cell by clicking on F4, because in all these cells, this 50% will be taken into consideration. So I will have to fix this particular cell. Then add L2. L2 stands for the payment score multiplied by the payment weightage, that is 30%. Then fix it, then plus, that is O2. O2 stands for the reporting score column multiplied by 20% weightage. Then fix that cell, bracket close, and then multiply by 10, since we are going to calculate all the scores out of 10. And we'll click on enter, and I get a value over here. And then just I have to drag it down, and I have got all my final scores for all the employees filled up. So this is the first step to create a dashboard, that is understanding the data sheet. So I think you have understood all the columns of the data, how it is being calculated, and how each of these cells can be filled up. Thank you.